If you're paying for an appointment booking tool like Calendly, you might be wasting your money. Most Google Calendar users don't realize they already have a built-in booking system. In this video, I'll show you how to use the appointment schedule feature right here inside Google Calendar. So to get started, open up your Google Calendar, and we want to come up here to the left-hand side and select Create. But we're not going to create an event. We're not going to create a task. We want to select Appointment Schedule. By selecting this option, it's going to open up this sidebar on the left. Now, you'll also notice on the right-hand side, it's going to add an overview of what your schedule will look like. Now, don't worry, nothing is put in play just yet, but this is actually going to be quite helpful as we set up your schedule. So the first thing that we need to do is add a title. And in my example, I'm going to call this Discovery Call with Scott. You can give it any title that you want. Just keep in mind, this is what others will see. This will be the name of the event in their calendar when they book something with you. And don't worry, you can change the title of your booking appointment and any of your other settings even after you've published and made this live. Now, the second option that we have available to us is appointment duration. Now, the default is 30 minutes, but you can change this to a number of other options available here, or even select a custom option. Now, if I select 1 hour, you'll notice that the preview on my actual calendar will change as well. If I change this to 2-hour appointments, that's going to change the booking slots as well. I'm going to go back and select 1 hour, and here I can see what is going to be available at least at this point in time. But of course, we need to make other changes as well. Here we get to the general availability section, and you'll probably want to spend a fair amount of time figuring out when you want to make yourself available. Now, the first option available to us is a drop-down. By default, it's going to say repeat weekly, meaning that this schedule that we see here is going to repeat into the future. I can even go forward in my actual calendar here and see those changes just to make sure that everything is set up correctly. Now, if you don't want your schedule to be made available repeat weekly, you can say does not repeat, and you can make something a lot more specific. Let's say, for example, you want to create a special coaching call session for just one day or a couple of evenings. You can do that here as well. But in many cases, we may want the same schedule available week after week after week. So I'm going to go back and select repeat weekly. Then down below that, here is where we can specify exactly the days of the week and the specific times that we are going to make ourselves available. Here you can see that both Sunday and Saturday are listed as unavailable right now. And if I wanted to add them, I just simply need to add this plus button, add another period to this day. You'll also notice that this plus button is available on the other days of the weeks that even have a time frame. Why is that? Well, let's say I do want to make myself available Monday 9 to 5, but I also want to make myself available later in the evening. I would hit that plus button, and here I could say I want to make myself available from 7 to 9 as well. So you can have multiple blocks of time even on a single day. Now, whenever you want to remove a time slot, let's say I want to get rid of that evening, I can just select this unavailable, this no sign. And in my example, I'm actually going to go ahead and remove a couple of days because I only want to make myself available on Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm going to hit unavailable on Monday, unavailable on Wednesday, and unavailable on Friday. And again, we can see that in real time, the preview on our actual calendar. Now, there's one other thing that you want to make note of here. Here you'll see that there is a copy icon, which says copy time to all. Now, don't be confused. If I'm to hit this icon right now, it's not going to suddenly make 9 to 5 available the rest of the days of the week. It's only going to copy what I've set here to any other days that are available. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Let's say that I only want to be available from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and I want that to be the same on Thursday or any other day that I may have enabled. If I select this copy time to all, it's now going to make Thursday 2 to 5 p.m. as well. So if you have a similar schedule and you want to apply this to multiple days, it's a lot quicker to set up one of those days and then apply it to everywhere else. I'm going to go back and make myself available from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm going to hit that button once again so it shows up here on the Thursday as well. The last setting here under general availability is your time zone. Now, this should be the exact time zone for your Google Calendar settings, but if you need to adjust it, you can do that here as well. Now, before we hit that next button, there's a couple of other settings we want to pay special attention to. The next section is called Scheduling Window, and we can expand that to show a number of additional settings. The first one is how long we want to make this scheduling calendar available. Do we want to enable it immediately? Meaning that if I publish this and share this link, that people can start using it right away and start booking me from today? Or do I want to limit the start and end dates? If I choose this option here, it's going to bring up a new dialog. And let's say I only want to make this schedule available for the month of March. Here is where I could select a specific start date and a specific end date, so it doesn't just continue into the future. I'm going to hit cancel in my case, and I am going to select available now. But we don't want to skip over the next two settings either. I might suggest that these are perhaps the two most important settings when you're setting up your booking schedule. The first one is called maximum time in advance that an appointment can be booked. By default, it is set to 60 days, meaning that someone could book an appointment with me 60 days from today. That's a full 2 months away. Now, you can adjust this number to anything that you like. In my case, I'm going to reduce this to 25 days. There's a couple of reasons. I think if you allow people to book you so far in advance, they may forget about the appointment or no longer need the appointment. But of course, your use case and your need for a booking calendar is going to be different from myself and for others. So in this case, they can only book me 25 days in advance. The next one down below is also extremely important. Minimum time before the appointment start that it can be booked. So what does this mean? The default is 4 hours, meaning that the earliest someone could book an appointment with me is 4 hours from now, or 4 hours from when they open up my booking page. So if it's almost 11 a.m. here in my local time, that means that 3 p.m. would be the earliest that someone could book time with me. Now, don't ignore this setting. For example, you don't want someone to book a meeting with you 15 minutes from now if that doesn't give you enough chance to be notified. So you will most likely want to adjust this. Do you want to give yourself 24 hours notice? Do you want to give yourself 12 hours notice? How soon can someone book an appointment with you? If you're very actively engaged and are expecting discovery calls or other booking in the moment, maybe you'll want to reduce this to same-day bookings as well. It comes down to you, but make sure you review both of these settings. I'm going to collapse the scheduling window, and next we have an adjusted availability. What this means is that you can zero in and specify certain time blocks or certain dates where you are not going to be available. So, for example, if I come out here to next week, let's say I already have a commitment on February 17th. I'm going to select this change a date's availability. I'm going to select that 17th, and it's going to show me the exact same time that I scheduled up here in the general availability section. But if I don't want to be available on that particular date, I can come up here and say unavailable all day. And you'll notice in real time that appointment scheduling block is now removed. It didn't change any of the other weeks. It only changed that particular date. Now, you don't have to cancel out an entire day. You could just change the time for a particular day. But this is where you're going to want to go to make those adjustments. Down below that, we have another very important area called booked appointment settings. If we maximize this, we have things such as buffer time and how many bookings we are going to allow on a given day. Now, I strongly encourage you to consider adding a buffer time. Why? Well, let's take a look at the preview here. Here you can see that I've allowed 1 hour appointments, but they are back to back or one after another, meaning that if this meeting goes over a little bit, someone else might be waiting for me to jump on a call with them. And perhaps I want to give myself a little bit of buffer room. So by selecting this checkbox for buffer time, the default is 30 minutes. Here you can see that it is given a 30-minute break in between those meetings. So even if something goes over time by a little bit, I've got a bit of extra time to prepare for that second booking. Again, you can adjust this by minutes or even by hours, but I would encourage you to consider adding a buffer time to your appointments. And then down below, if you don't want to be booked, let's say with 5 discovery calls or 5 appointments in a given day, you can create a limit as well. By checking this box, we can reduce this number to something like 2, for example. That's not going to change anything in the preview here. What this means is that as soon as a second booking is made on this particular day or any day, that day will no longer be available. So this can be a great way to limit the number of appointments you have on a given day. And then lastly, in this section, we have guest permissions, meaning, do you want to give the person who is booking time with you the ability to invite others to that same meeting? Or do you just want to make sure that this is a one-on-one engagement? You can choose to check or uncheck this box. Just note that it is checked by default. So if you want to make it strictly a one-on-one meeting, you will need to come in here to uncheck this setting. Now, the last section on this page has to do with calendars. And if you are using the free version of Google Calendar, you may be limited to just your default calendar, meaning that when it comes to availability and double bookings, it is only going to look at your main calendar. Here's an example. I already have a meeting scheduled here at 11 a.m. That means that it will never present that to someone as a possibility. It will never double book me because I already have this event here. As I add more events, it's going to keep that in mind. Now, if you would like to add other calendars, you may need to upgrade to Google's One Premium plan so that you can have it reference multiple Google Calendars when it comes to your availability. The last thing that you may want to check here is that you may want to add a different color for your booking calendar. So for example, if I don't want my booking availability to be in red as well, I could change it to this blue color. I kind of like the contrast of my booking calendar appointments being a different color than my main calendar. Once we're happy with these settings, we can come down to the bottom and hit next. Now, once again, we have the title of our appointment here at the top of the screen. This is not a different title. It simply gives us an opportunity to edit here as well. Down below that, we have the booking page photo and name. And this is just to confirm what it is going to look like for others. Now, both the profile picture and the name cannot be edited here, and it cannot be different different than your Google account. You'll have to go into your Google account if you'd like to change either of these. Just note, both of these will be visible to those who are booking appointments with you. If I collapse that, we next have our location and conferencing options here. So, are you going to meet via video conferencing? Do you want to give them a phone call, or do you want to meet in person? Here, if we select this drop down, we can include automatically a Google Meet video conferencing link. So if I select this option, it's going to automatically add a link when someone books that appointment. We can also choose an in-person meeting. It's going to require you to include an address if you expect someone to show up at your office, for example. We can also choose a phone call. You don't have to provide your phone number, but it will require the person booking with you to provide their number so you know whom to call. And then lastly, we can choose none or to be specified later if you don't want to include anything. But of course, you're probably going to want to communicate how you're going to have that conversation or how you're going to meet. Below that, we have our description field where we can add as much details as we like. We can format things. We can add links if we like as well. I'm just going to add a simple descriptor so you can see where this appears when we look at the booking page. Now, below the description, we have our booking form options. This is where we get to specify what fields appear when they make the booking. Now, first name, last name, and email address are not optional. You have to include them, and they are required for good reason. You need to know the name of the person who is booking an appointment with you, and also Google needs to know where they need to send those confirmations and that calendar invite. So those three are not optional. By default, it will include a phone number, but we can choose to either remove it or not make it optional. If I want to select this edit icon, I can unclick this required box and hit save, and now that phone number field will still be visible, but they're not required to enter it in. If I want to remove that phone number, I can hit that X here, and now we're just left with those three required fields. But you're not limited to just a phone number. Down below, I can select add an item. I can either add back a phone number or I can add a custom item. So in my case, maybe I want them to include their website address. I can choose to make it required or not, and I'm going to select add item. So they will have a field where they can input their website address. Last but not least, we have our booking confirmations and reminders. Now, again, if you're using a free version of Google Calendar, you're actually not going to have any additional items here. Automatically, you will receive notifications about this booking, and they will receive a notification and a calendar invite when this booking takes place. But if you're wanting to set up more customized email reminders, you will need to upgrade your account. At this point, let's go ahead and hit save. Now, if you're finding this video helpful so far, why not hit that subscribe button? Every week, I create new videos to help you simplify your tools so you can take back control. And if you'd like to work with me, you can learn more at Simpletivity.com. So now that we've created our booking schedule, you can see what it looks like on your calendar. There's this thin bar between the periods, in my case, Tuesday and Thursday, where you can see this discovery call with Scott. And I can see that into the future. Remember, we decided to cancel this Tuesday, but if I keep going further out, you can see that space here as well. So not only does that tell us where we've made ourselves available, but this is also the place we can go to edit this booking schedule. If I click on this, it's going to open up a brief dialogue of what this event will look like, but I can go ahead and hit this edit appointment schedule and edit any of the settings that we've already talked about. Now, in our case, I'm not going to make any changes, so I can select close, but I just want to make sure that you're aware of where you need to go if you want to edit this appointment schedule or if you want to delete it altogether. But where we next want to pay attention is to both the preview link and the copy link. Let's start by hitting that preview button. Because this is exactly what others are going to see when you share that link with others. Whether you include this on your website, if you include this in an email signature, if you send it via a text message, this is the landing page that they are going to see. It's going to include your profile picture and your name here. Here is the name of the appointment schedule that we specified. It's going to tell them how long the appointment slots are. And then this is the description field. So you may want to include some introductory notes or a welcome, or maybe just describe what this appointment is all about in that description field. Down below, this is their opportunity to select an appointment time. On the left-hand side, we have a mini calendar. Again, all of the dates where they cannot select are crossed off. They can select anything here in blue. And if I go forward to next month, remember, I specified that they could only book 25 days in advance. So they can currently book me up until the 5th of March, but everything else will be canceled off. So I'm going to go ahead and select the 19th in this example, and I'm going to book an appointment for 1 p.m. They'll next be presented with this dialog box, so they can input their first and last name. Here is where they can input their email address as well. Of course, I'm just making things up in this particular example. And then remember, I added the website address as an optional field. They can include this if they want. Lastly, they can select book, and they will receive this confirmation message. And yes, they will receive an email, and it will be added to their calendar. Now, what does it look like for you? If we go back to our calendar, and let's go to the 19th, here we can see that booking has now been made. And because we selected that blue color, it's a different color than what I have included here in my standard calendar. If I select this, I can choose to cancel the appointment. I can choose to edit those details if I want, but now they have booked that time with me. Last but not least, how do you go about sharing your booking link? Well, just click on any of your availability here, and instead of selecting preview, you want to select copy link. You can now go ahead and paste this link wherever you want. Share it with others so that they can book an appointment with you. Well, I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any further questions about how to use appointment schedule in Google Calendar, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you deserve to work without feeling overwhelmed.